Okay, welcome to your space project, your phenomenon that you chose. Um, I'm going to give you directions in this video on how to do parts 1 and 2. Okay? And I'm going to give it to you through an example. So the example I'm showing you is sunrise, sunset. Nobody has that as a phenomenon. Well, your phenomenons are something different. If you don't remember what your phenomenon is, come and see me. Okay, but that's your phenomenon. This is your phenomenon slide. Where you're going to find most of this is the example. Where you're going to find most of this is in Google Classroom. There will be a category called Space Phenomenon Project. And this is what I'm dealing with, the examples. So this is a material you can look at for examples, but I'm going to go through it in this video. But I want to part out some things. So here's your assignment, right? Space Phenomenon Project, parts 1 and 2. You're going to do this in parts, okay? And they're going to be graded as we go. There will be chances to redo and improve your grade, but this isn't a project that you hand in all at once and you get one big grade. These are assessment grades. They're going into that 25% like a test, but they're going to be more than one of them. They're going to be about 3 of them, okay? So you're going to follow the steps on the slide to complete your project. You don't have to do a slide deck. The slide deck's the easiest one. You can do it on paper. You can do a 3D model. You can do a video. Okay? But you have, whatever you do, you have to show it in with these questions. Okay? So I'm going to show you the space phenomenon directions first, and then we'll go to the example. Again, this will be in Google Classroom. This is what you're going to hand in. Even if you do a paper copy, you're going to hand in, turn this in Google Classroom, and just say, comment about paper or 3D model, okay? I do want you to take some kind of image so I know what you handed in, okay? But also just write done on paper like you would for a learning log or something. Okay. So, parts 1 and 2. Part 1, you're going to create a title page or slide, okay, or some sort of title on your paper project, okay. You're going to include your name and your place and things like that, okay. Next, you're going to create a visual representation of your observable pattern as seen from Earth, okay. Explain where you need to be to see the phenomenon, explain when you need to be there to see the phenomenon, and explain what will happen, explain what you will see happen, okay? Okay, this next section where you're showing where your pattern is going to be, you're going to make this. You're not pulling an image off of Google or something, okay? You are making this. And I'm going to point out where you're going to get the information for this, but you are making this part, the observable pattern. It's a diagram, okay? You can have pictures of your pattern, but I want a diagram, either done 3D, 2D digitally, or on paper, okay? And it's going to include these things. I'm showing the time, okay? So mine is sunrise and seconds. Nobody has that, right? About 6 a.m., about 6 p.m., every day in most places. Only places at the poles have days where the sun doesn't rise or set. You need to be outside. You should be at a flat horizon with few trees, buildings, or hills. Okay, that is my slide to do this part. Okay, a visual representation of your observable pattern as seen from Earth. That's what I just showed you my example of. I explained where I need to see the phenomenon. I explained where I need to be. I need to be outside, flat horizon. And I explained when I will see it happen. That's what you're going to do. So there are places here for a title page and a slide to do that. And sentence frames and must includes. Okay? That's part 1. Part 2, which I've called step 2, is you're going to compare this to like today and ancient days. Almost every phenomenon has an ancient time. If you're doing Manhattan Henge or Chicago Henge, it's not ancient, but it's been around. You can talk about the beginning of its discovery versus now, okay? You're going to compare and contrast. How did people in ancient times, or when this pattern was created, use this pattern in the sky? How do people today use this pattern? What tools were used to study this pattern? And what tools do we have now? Okay, so you can compare and contrast kind of ancient times, or at least the beginning of the phenomenon being noticed, to now. I'm going to show you what that looks like in my example of sunrise and sunset. I've used the sentence frames on the slides to create this. And again, now I can have a Google image. When I create a visual, that I'm not having a Google image. But when I'm doing the writing, I can put a Google image with it, or whatever I want. The pattern of sunrise and sunset in the sky is connected to day and night on Earth, because when the sunrise happens in the sky, it is considered the start of the day on Earth. So again, sunrise to start of day. The sunset is considered nighttime on Earth. Most people consider daytime as activity, work time, and nighttime as sleep or rest. Okay. I use the observation video from the task to observe sunrise and sunset. You may have something you've observed, you may not. I also have observation in life. I've observed that it's light when I go to school and dark when I go to sleep. Scientists use special telescopes, radar, heat imaging, and satellites to track the sun's movement. Okay? That's my connection. Okay. To that. Oops. The pattern that I noticed is that the sun always rises in the east in the morning and always sets in the east later in the day. The rise and set times change each day and significantly change as the seasons change. The sunrise and sunset pattern happens all over the Earth. Again, kind of reinforcing what I said in my diagram. Here's my connection to other people, to other times. Today, when we see this pattern, it helps us know time and when the work activity time is over. For example, I need to walk my dog before the sun sets. Long ago, sunrise and sunset were even more important. Before electric lights, people needed to complete their work during light hours. They would stop working with the setting of the sun. Okay? And again, I'm using those sentence frames in the slides. Okay? There are sentence frames here. I use those to create that. Okay? Where did I get all that information? That might be the next step. Okay? So that's my example. Your research, this is a research project. You're not going to be able to just know everything, kind of like you might for day and night, based on what we're doing in class, or sunrise and sunset. You won't. So there are two places. You are not just Googling this. You are not just using AI. Okay? There are two research sites you may use. This slide deck, which is actually it's in 13.22. Okay, this shows all the phenomenon and gives some video links for each one. So you may use those videos. And for this project part, I mean that will be helpful for seeing what it's like and giving the timings and things. Then there are research readings. This is the research I've collected. And yeah, I used AI to do it because you are using these readings that I've collected and picked out to help you answer the questions. They're actually specially designed to help you answer the questions. So about 2 slides per thing. If you see down here, you can see where each one is. So you're going to come here and find yours and use those slides and the videos to answer your project questions. Okay? If you can't find the information in those, you come to me and you ask me and I'll help you find it. Most likely it is there. If not, then I will help you find another source. Okay? But these are the two. And you are not just taking these research readings and copying and pasting them into it. You're reading them and putting them in your own words. Okay? This project, as well as understanding space, is understanding how to take things and put them in your own words. That's what we're practicing. Okay? That should be good enough to get you started. Good luck and have fun.